Hello, and welcome to a special edition of A Skinny Guy Eats. And if you're wondering where I've been for the last month and why I haven't posted any videos, that's because I took a vacation. It wasn't exactly a vacation I was hoping for. In fact, I wasn't expecting it at all. We'll get to the details of that a little bit later. But there's always a silver lining to every dark cloud. I was held for 30 days in jail. This is now my third month being held in county jail on civil offenses. But I do know how to make the most of my time. Food in jail and prison often gets a bad rap. There's a blog about it in the link below. It's also extremely overpriced. There are two types of food that you're going to get in jail. First, there's state-issued trays, and then there's commissary. Now, food is used as psychological torture, one of many forms that are used in jail. And the commissary is one of the places where jails and prisons make a lot of money. For example, this 12-cent package of ramen costs $1.20 in jail, but it's only used as $1 in currency. Even though you can't trade food in jail, inmates regularly do it. The one thing you don't want to ever do is steal food or anything else from any other inmate, or even the guards. Do not steal from the inmates. Now in Pima County, ramen noodles are also the base for most spreads. A spread is basically when all the inmates share food. Everyone puts in an item for a recipe who somebody figures out at some point or another, and everyone shares the food. In Maricopa County, tortillas are everything for spreads. So what we're going to do today is make a few of the spreads, a couple from both Pima and Maricopa County jails. So here's some of the commissary items that we're going to be using. We have pretzel bits. Now these are available in Maricopa County, but not Pima County, and they're a staple along with pork rinds for Maricopa County's famous burrito. Ginger snaps are provided with every single breakfast in Maricopa County. Ginger snaps were the staple of indigent cake, which is something we're going to be making today. Chips are very important in jail. They can be crushed up and used as a base for a lot of different meals. Fritos are chili cheese Fritos that we're going to be using to make a Tucson tamale. And of course we have peanut butter. In Maricopa County, peanut butter is state issued, but in Pima County, it's kind of hard to come by. These little tiny jars of generic peanut butter end up costing about $4 in jail. And squeezed cheese is one of the staples in both Maricopa and Pima County. Now, I can't find Cactus Annie's on the outs. It's a jail-only brand, but I did get a generic jar so you can see what it's like. We also have Tropical Punch Kool-Aid. Now these mixes are used for Chinese food, which is what we're going to make with the ramen. There's several different flavors of state-issued Kool-Aid that are way smaller packets than these that you'll get with your breakfast in Pima County. Orange and grape are typically what you'll find, and people love mixing them with the milk. And of course we're going to need a protein, so I got a little package of tuna. Now these are the types of packages that you're going to see inside of jail with other proteins like tuna, mackerel, chicken. There's also a few chili and beef and bean varieties you can find. They're kind of like the military MREs. I'm excited to eat these. First we start by breaking up the dry goods in their own packets. Now in jail they have concrete floors. I do not. So I'm not going to be throwing this against the ground. There are no dishes in jail. Being able to break everything and prepare everything within the packet is good. And because we have a soup here, I'll show you the soup equivalent value of some of these other items. A small cheese packet is one soup. A couple knots of the good Kool-Aid would be one soup. Tuna you could probably get 2 soups for if you're good. Peanut butter would be 3 soups at least. I would trade it for a haircut or just save it for a special occasion. Now let's crush the Cheetos. Some of the chips spilled out all over the place. So we're transferring them into a plastic bag. Basically with the sack that the sack breakfast / lunch will show up in Maricopa County. They're a little harder to find in Pima. Crushing everything into a powder within the bag. The more work you put into it, the better it's going to be. So you want to get these as crushed up as fine as you can. Basically what you're making is a powder that we're going to add water to next. This requires hot water, something you can only get in Pima County. And while I'm getting the hot water, we're going to go ahead and make the sauce for the Chinese food and the noodles. Now cooking time is also key, so you want the hot water to stay in there and to put everything on a hot lamp that's covered to keep as much heat as you can as possible. So what we have is barely wet ramen, then we have the Fritos, the crushed up Fritos with water, and then we have a really thick tropical Kool-Aid mix that also has the powder from the powdered spice packet from the ramen and a little bit of hot sauce. This is a sweet and sour sauce. So we're going to let those sit for a few minutes and kind of seep in. While that's cooking, let's do dessert while I tell you a little bit about jail. Guilty until you're proven innocent is a misnomer. I've now been held for 3 months, individually for 3 different charges, and I've yet to be charged with anything. Guilt is a matter of opinion, and perspective, and apparently money. Also, I was arrested in my home without a warrant. That peanut butter. Because I was indigent, I decided to have a food strike. You see, people held for short terms hate the jail food, but if you're there for a long time, it becomes delicious, and you'd be amazed what people would do for a little commissary. You could even die for it. So I certainly wasn't going to steal any extra trays, nor was I going to steal any commissary. What I did do was go in and show how skinny I am to get the medical staff to approve me for low BMI diet. That's BMI, Body Mass Index. I went in at 150 and I was 142 the second time they weighed me. Because I lost so much weight, they issued me double trays. And because I was refused those double trays for a straight week, I staged a hunger strike. I've now done a hunger strike in both Pima and Maricopa counties. Maricopa I lasted about 2 weeks before they gave in. Pima lasted a day before they gave in. The important thing to know is that if you're ever held against your will, refusing to eat is the only way you're going to take the power back. Now let's add some ginger snaps. So the store-bought peanut butter is a little creamier than what you get in jail. In jail, it's literally just peanuts. Here, there's a lot of extra crap added. Now that the tuna's added to everything, we're going to add the sauces. So then we have Chinese food, which is the ramen, sweet and sour sauce, and tuna. The tuna's making my cat go crazy. She's gonna get some. And then we have the tamale, which is the corn mix with the crushed up Fritos and cheese and tuna on top. Now obviously you can change the proteins for whatever meats you want, so let's dig in. So this has been a fun Skinny Guy Eats to film. 30 long days in the making, 90 with pre-production. So if you want to see more Skinny Guy Eats videos, or anything else from the Whistleblower Archives, subscribe, watch, like, share, do whatever the fuck you want. Because by the time this video is posted, a skinny guy will have already eaten his own foot, along with a lot of humble pie. But I'm still going, and they're never shutting me down.